Father, I just thank you so very much for the opportunity to do this because you've changed my life and you've changed my family's life, and we want to give back. And so I have this opportunity to be here. Please be with us. Bless the food that I'm going to prepare in front of them. Bless the food that we have prepared already. Bless their taste buds and prepare them to be maybe a little bit shocked of what actual food tastes like. And I thank you so very much for loving us. And I ask that you help us to have a fun time. And I ask all this in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen. I don't know why I'm so emotional today. Okay. Woo. It's the weather. Okay. So I'm going to do some recipes in order so we can get them cooking. So I'm going to kind of go at different orders, okay? So we're going to jump around. Let's start. The first recipe I want to talk about is the chicken seasoning on the bottom of the first page. It says chicken seasoning, okay? Just to let you know, no chicken is in the seasoning, all right? It's just kind of, all these recipes, please make sure if you send them on to somebody else, you give the owners of the recipe credit. So this one is actually from the Weimar cafeteria recipe. Do you see it at the bottom? It says chicken seasoning. Now, this is what I do. There's McKay's chicken seasoning. There's a whole bunch of different chicken seasonings you can buy out in the market. But I want you to know the best chicken seasoning or the best seasonings you can use are ones that you prepare yourself, because you know what's in them. You don't know when they make it what they're putting in, the quality of it. So I'm not going to make this for you, but you have it. Now somebody's going to look at this recipe and they're going to see something and they're going to scream. So I'm going to go through it and we'll scream together. So it takes 1.5 cups of nutritional yeast. Does everybody, if you don't know a nutritional yeast, I can explain it, but if not, okay. So you have nutritional yeast, a cup of onion powder, and a 3/4 cup salt. Everyone goes, oh, no way. Here's the deal. There's a lot of salt in this, but when we made it, this is a huge container of seasoning. You're only going to use a little bit of seasoning, right? So you have to understand that it's all divided. I'm not trying to kill you, okay? But it's important to use good salt. So I believe they use Himalayan salt, all right? My husband and I like real salt. You can look at that at the co-op if you want. All of them, we're trying to find a salt with minerals in it, okay? Just not plain. Some salts, I don't know if the Himalayan has iodine in it. So a lot of these healthy salts do not have iodine, but you need iodine, but just a little bit. And Dr. Gallant will talk to you maybe later about how to get that iodine if you're not getting it in your salt. What I do is I just buy a nice salt with iodine in it, and I add it in some things, then I know we're getting a little bit of iodine. But also you can get it from seaweed, and we love using seaweed with rice, oh yummy. And what else? Kelp and dulse. So you can buy dulse and add it to your salads and things like that. There's plenty of ways for you to get your iodine, but you do need to get a little bit of iodine. Okay, and then also, I'm not going to go through everything unless you look through there and you say, what is that? Do you recognize all the seasonings in there? Okay, so what you do is if you want to make a big batch of it, you just get a bowl and you put all of it together, stir it up, and you make your little jars. And at home, mine says Weimar chicken seasoning because I do different types of chicken seasoning for different things. So if you have your favorite chicken seasoning, keep using it. But for this recipe that I'm going to make, you're going to want this recipe because I've made it with other chicken seasonings and it's not as what you're going to taste today. So this is just a great seasoning to have, but it does have salt. But you can use it with lots of things. Okay, just remember it does have salt. So you could say chicken seasoning with salt if you want to, so you remember that it has salt. All right, so there's your first recipe that you can start. You can start making that this week. You can start gathering these seasonings and put it all together. If you have this in your pantry, the rest is going to be really easy. Okay, so I believe the kitchen staff, because I asked them to, they're going to give you enough of this to take home today, one per family. You're going to get this, you're going to get 4 tablespoons of this so you can make this next soup this week. All right? You're going out of here good. All right, I'm going to make sure. So I'm going to put this here. All right, so the first recipe is not the first one on here. Turn the page, and it's on the back of the first page. It's called red lentil soup. This is a favorite, and this is a favorite for those people that have never had plant-based food because it tastes yummy. So if you have a family or a family member that is going to say, I don't want to eat this way, make this soup. Don't say it's healthy for you or anything. Just say it's a yummy soup or whatever. Serve it, and because it's got lots of wonderful, healthy things, but it's not going to be some, it's not tofu and it's not whatever. Those things scare people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it in an Instapot, but you could make it in a pot at home. So if you don't have an Instapot, you can make it, just put it all in a pot and cook it up, just like a regular soup. How many of you have an Instapot at home? Yeah, quite a few people have Instapots. How many of you are using your Instapot? Oh, good. So you're already using them. So, because this is a wonderful tool, if you have somebody at home that needs a Christmas present or whatever, I've really, really enjoyed my Instapot, and I've learned to do lots of things in it. So let's go. We're going to start making our first recipe. Are you ready? Okay. So in this, though this pot goes in here at the end, but I'm just going to put it right here to start. Okay. And we're just going to, can you see? Everyone can see? All right. So in this Instapot, I have 6 cups of water, because what's the first ingredient on your page? Ta-da. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put 2 cups of red lentils. If you can see the red lentils, okay, you have brown lentils and red lentils and green lentils. This red lentil is really good because it's bright in color, so it's good in antioxidants, right? Anything with bright color. So usually they are very light, but we rinse them, so they always kind of get rocky. They're not usually rocky. Okay, but I'm going to throw them in here, and it's not going to be a pretty sight because the water just makes them like rock. But what you do want to rinse your lentils, okay? Anything that you're buying seeds and nuts and stuff, it's just a good thing. It's so funny because, all right, so you just dump them in. I just like to use my hands, but thank you. He's very proper. Oh, a spoon. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we've got the lentils in there. What's the next ingredient? It's diced tomatoes. So if you have tomatoes in your garden, you dice them up and put them in. This is more of a winter. I love making this in all winter. So you might have to do your canned tomatoes. This is not. I did not put 28 ounces. It was half the can. So, all right. It's all right. You can. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we got our tomatoes. What's the next one? All right, so we had 2 cups of potatoes cut up. You can make them big like this, or you can make them small, however you want. If you make them smaller, they're going to break down in your soup, which is fine. It's what you want, right? Because it's your soup. So I'm going to put the potatoes. They're just washed and cut. I keep the skin on. I want as much fiber, and so I leave the skin on. And I do wash them, but I don't scrub them really hard because I like a little bit of earth on my stuff. And these are organic potatoes. Okay. And then it says one cup of chopped celery. Okay. Everybody has this stuff, right? Don't you have potatoes and celery? And 1 cup of carrots chopped. These, you can make these smaller or bigger, however you'd like. All right. And then we're going to do the seasonings. So we're going to put parsley. Okay, I'm going to put parsley in there, just dried parsley. And I'm going to put the chicken. Oh, we're going to use the chicken seasoning that you're all going home with. And I'm going to put, is it 4? 4 tablespoons. So that's why we're going to give you 4 tablespoons of that. Okay, and then it calls for crushed garlic, and as much as you want. It says 1.5 teaspoons, but of course I tried to put a little bit more because that never hurts. Okay, so crushed garlic and turmeric. Okay, turmeric is something that you'll see a lot today, and I try to put it in lots of things. It's a great anti-inflammatory. So you want to just throw turmeric in. It will make things a little yellow. So it'll make tofu yellow, and it'll make this soup a little more yellow. So I'm going to put that turmeric in. Okay, so you throw that in here. I stir it up. I really don't even need to really stir it up, but I do. Okay, I put it in my Instapot. If you are at home, you would just start boiling it in your pot and get it boiling at a low rumble and get it simmering and just let it cook until the lentils and the potatoes are how you want it. That's it. But today we're going to put it in the Instapot. And for those of you that have one, you probably know how to use it. But what I do is I just put it on the soup. This one has a soup. Mine says, because all of them are kind of different. So if you need help with that, but I just put it on soup and I put it for 9 minutes. And then you let it go. And what this is it's a pressure cooker. So it locks and builds up pressure, and then it releases it it automatically releases it. So it's really nice. You don't have to fool with it. I know people have grown up with pressure cookers and they're afraid that they're going to blow up the world. Well, this is safe for people like me. So it's computerized, so it kind of takes care of the guessing game. So my husband is going to take it in there and turn it on, and it will take it's going to take about 10 minutes to build up that pressure, 9 minutes to cook, and then what I do is I just let it release naturally, but you can let it release naturally for about 10 minutes, and then open it up if you want. The nice thing about this soup is I'll make it in the morning, and then I'll go to work, and I'll come back, and it will release itself and then stay warm, so it'll be ready. So that's the nice thing about the Instapot. You can leave it, come back to it, and it's kind of like a crock pot. It just stays warm, or a rice cooker. Okay? So it's a great soup to have and a great soup to throw in and start. Yes?
So if we're just doing it on stovetop, do you need to boil the lentils like it says first for 30 minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you. Sorry. Yes. There's instructions if you want to do it in the pot. The question was, if you're doing it in the pot, and it does say on the instructions, boil the lentils for 30 minutes and then throw everything in. Yes. Okay? Great. Any questions on that recipe? All right. Sounds good. The next recipe, let's go on and make the first one so we can just be done with the first page. We're going to make the chickpea a la king, and then it says pot pie. And we're not going to make a pot pie today, but you can use this as the innards of the inside of a pot pie if you choose to. All right, let me get the ingredients ready, and then we'll go for it. Okay, thank you. right. All right. This, I don't know if anyone has this wonderful cookbook. It's from Of These Ye May Freely Eat. It's a tiny little cookbook. It's like $3.95, and it's wonderful. It's just I guess I should have a copy of it, but I don't have it. But it's a great cookbook. This is one of my children's favorite recipes to have. It's definitely a what do you call it? A comfort food. Okay. So, all right, let's go for it. So, we're going to take 3 cups of water and a half a cup of cashews. The cashews, I have whole raw cashews. They are rinsed, okay? Now, let me tell you something. If you don't have, I know I'm going to say Vitamix and everyone's going to laugh because this church has a thing about Vitamixes, I think. But, okay, so I'm using a Vitamix. You don't have to have a Vitamix, but if you do, you're blessed, okay? So if you have a regular blender, you can use your regular blender. What you want to do probably is just soak your cashews before you use them to soften them. Because all the things that I'm going to blend with cashews today, you want the cashews to be creamy, not crunchy, right? So, but I do rinse my cashews before I use them, so that's why they sound soft like that. Okay, so I'm putting my cashews in, and I'm going to put half the water in right now. And the reason why is, probably a little less, I'm going to blend this with all the seasonings until it's smooth, and then I'll put the rest of the water in. If you put all the water in, especially if you have a blender not so powerful, it won't get really smooth. So it's kind of a trick, okay? So let's do that. We're going to put, I made a batch of this in there, and it has regular flour, but I have some people, is there anybody gluten-free in the audience? Okay, I'm making this batch. Can you make sure they know? This batch is going to be gluten-free. So I'm going to use gluten-free flour. So I'm just throwing gluten-free flour in there. And then it calls for a 1 3/4 teaspoon salt. I put a little less probably because my chicken seasoning has salt. If you use another chicken seasoning that doesn't have salt, you might want to put a little bit more of the salt. So I'm putting salt in. And I'm going to put the 2 tablespoons of my chicken seasoning. And then I'm going to blend it up. And we're going to be a little loud. I don't know, is it going to? Okay. So I don't know if you know, this is pretty loud. So just a second and I'll get it blended up. Thank you. Oh. Thank you. Well, that was exciting. All right. Nice. Okay. So while you're doing all that, you can be cutting your onions and carrots up, however you'd like them cut up. And I steamed these before, but if you wanted to, you could just put them in a pan. And people say, well, do you put oil in your pan? No, I just put a little bit of water, and then I steam the vegetables. So these don't have any oil on them. They're just steamed in a pot with water. You don't need a whole lot of water. You just need a little bit of water, and it creates a steam, and it makes a wonderful way to cook or saute your vegetables. Okay, so I'm going to start with this, and then here's my trick, is I put the rest of the water, the rest of the 3 cups in the blender to clean it up. And then I put it in there. And I'm going to try to get this on properly. Okay. All right. So that just cleaned up the rest of the blender. So when I give it to my husband here, he can go in and clean it up and bring it back. And what we're going to do then is and I might send this in to finish up because I don't want to spend a lot of time, but what's going to happen is this is like a cream sauce for all of you oldies but goodies that used to make a cream sauce, okay? This is your cream sauce. You're going to stir it and let it thicken, all right? And the flour in there will thicken it, okay? And then you're going to then add your carrots and onions. But what you can do it the opposite way too. You can cook your carrots and onions in here, right? And then put the liquid in. So you're just going to put the onions and carrots in. And you're going to stir it until it thickens. And then, I don't have TV magic here or anything. So then we're going to put our peas in, and these are just frozen peas. And you put those in so you have your pretty green. And then now you've put cashews in, so you're getting protein, right? For all of those that are worried about protein. You've got your cashews, but now we're going to put garbanzo beans in. So this is a power-packed protein. Okay, so we're going to put garbanzo beans. So thank you. Add the garbanzo beans because it is called chickpea a la king. We forgot to add the garbanzo. So add 1 can of garbanzo beans per recipe. So to me, if you have a family of 2, this is perfect. But if you had any more, you would want to double it or maybe even triple it. And then it would feed more people. So this is about a 3 cup. Okay. So what this will do is it's going to thicken up, and then here's your options. That's what's fun about this. You can put this in a crust, okay, and make a pot pie out of it. You can put it over a baked potato. It's yummy over a baked potato. We're going to put it over brown rice today. Okay, so you have lots of options of what you can do with this. Okay, you could put it over toast, yes, biscuits and gravy. This can be your biscuit and gravy. Yes. No problem.
For anyone who's not used to it, stir continuously and over medium heat. It does tend to stick to the pan.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. I'm going to repeat it so it on here. It is definitely, if you notice, I am stirring constantly. So you need to put someone in charge. This is where I brought my kids into the cooking. You want to involve your whole family in this type of cooking. So you just have them sit there and you teach them how the pot's going to be hot, and you teach them those things, and then you have them stir. And it's kind of fun if you're an artist. You can kind of make little, pictures or whatever. But you keep stirring and bring it to a boil, and it takes. What happens is you're like, I always got this for my kids. It's not thickening. And I said, just wait. And what are we teaching? We're teaching patience, and we're teaching a chemical reaction. So you can teach a lot of lessons, right? And then all of a sudden, they're going to say, it's thickening. And then, and then you can thicken it as much as you'd like to thicken it, but you'll get to taste this in a little bit. And I'm going to send this in. I think it's cool enough. I don't think you need to. So there you go. Thank you very much. All right, that's your chickpea a la king. Any questions on that recipe? Yes. Yeah, they rinsed them and they put them back in there. Whatever your preference is on that. Okay. And those happen to be low sodium, so you can choose organic or whatever like that. This is still on, so I think I might need it. I'm going to keep it low. Thank you. I don't know why. Okay. All right. So, how do you think you could do those 2 recipes? Easy enough, right? And the ingredients are not some strange thing. All right. Let us make this is like fun. I get to choose. Everything's here. Let's make the oat burgers. So we're going to keep walking through this. I think it's on the 3rd page. It says oat burgers. And this is the recipe. Some of you got 7 Secrets cookbook yesterday for the raffle. This comes from that. So you can see the pictures on there. All right. So we're going to do, let me get that going. Let me get everything up here. Do you want to help me? Yeah, I'll just bring all that stuff up. Okay. So here's my thing about these oat burgers. You are noticing that the world is making all these vegan hamburgers, right? You can get them at Carl's Jr. I don't know about Burger King. I don't know where else you can get them. But everywhere, if you look at the ingredients in those burgers, they're not the best for you, okay? They've got chemicals. They're doing things to make it look and smell like regular meat. I was telling somebody I was raised in a meat house, and I was made to eat my meat, and I didn't like it. So I had to force myself to eat what was put in front of me. And so when I realized that I could live a different way, I was like, thank you, because I didn't like the taste of meat. So I don't actually like those burgers. When we go out and, someone says, oh, yes, it's a vegan burger, I actually like the nut burger or the lentil burger. I like those better. So we're going to make an oat burger. Now, the fun thing about this burger is you can make it into a breakfast, like a breakfast burger, like a breakfast patty, sausage, or you can make it more like a veggie burger. It just depends on the size and then adding things. So I'm gonna decide the way we made. I'm gonna make them the way we made all of them. So the ones you're gonna taste, I'll make it that way because that's the smoke flavor. So let me start. And what we're gonna do is I don't need this. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 cups of water. And okay, so let's go through the instructions. We're going to place all ingredients in a saucepan except the oats and the nuts. So let's go for it. So I'm going to do the 3 cups of water. Nice. It's going to start cooking. All right, and then I'm going to do 1/4 of a cup of Bragg's. If you do not want to use Bragg's, you don't need to. You might just add some more seasonings. I'm going to put a tablespoon of the chicken seasoning. And if you want to, if you have a beef type seasoning that you know of and it's good and you want to do that, you could do that also. But I'm going to put all these seasonings in together. I have the chicken seasoning, I have Italian seasoning, I have garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and nutritional yeast flakes. So let me throw all that in. I just throw all that in the water. Okay. And I'm going to put, instead of dry onion flakes, of course, I'm going to put a real onion. It's nice. It's tasty. It's better. You can do the dried, but I would much rather, if you have someone that can cut them, it's wonderful. So I'm going to put those in. Put the onions in. Yeah, you know what? You want to have all these yummy things in it because it's going to taste so good. So we're going to then let this boil. Let me make sure I have everything. Yes. Okay, so then we're going to let it come to a boil and simmer it. And you're going to smell this in a few minutes. Oh, yeah, thank you. See, I need all of you. So glad you're here to help me. So I'm going to put liquid smoke. I'm just going to put a little teaspoon in. I don't like to do that. So a couple tricks I've learned is never pour over your thing. Another trick too is, because when you're busy with family members, when you're measuring out things, let's say you're measuring it all into this bowl, I measure in clumps. So then if I get pulled away, I can come back and say, oh, I did 2 teaspoons of something. So like whatever it is, I make it and then I can look back on it. Okay, there's the liquid smoke. All right, you'll start smelling it. Okay, have you started smelling it back there? It's very yummy here. Okay. All right, because we don't have TV magic, I'm going to not probably cook it as long because I want to get to it. So what you do is you let it simmer for about 3 minutes, and then you remove it from the heat. So I'm going to just do a little bit. You're going to remove it from the heat, but I'm just going to add it right now. You're going to add, I use the small oats. Instead, I use quick oats instead of the rolled oats. The reason why is I've learned that if I give somebody a hamburger or a veggie burger or whatever that looks like oats, what do? I'm eating oatmeal. So if you use the small oats or the cut oats, they're kind of hidden. You're not going to see them. Some of you might see them in your oat burger today, but this helps you not see them as much. The other thing, too, is I'm going to put walnuts in today. You can use pecans, but I'm putting walnuts because walnuts are so awesome. And as you can see, I make them very ground because I want to hide the nuts, too. Okay? So I'm going to put the nuts in. And I'm going to put the oats in. And maybe a little bigger pot would have been greater, but that's all right. So what you're going to do is you're going to just stir it all in. And what's going to happen now is the oats are going to soak into the liquid. All right? And as it's soaking in, you're going to stir it up so you get all the seasoning all around. And you're going to then take it off the heat and let it just soak in and absorb all this goodness. Okay. I want to show you something. So what I did for your oat burgers today is I used a canning canister. So when I first started making oat burgers, I'm not an aesthetic type person, like I don't have to have things just right. I'm married to someone that does. So what I learned is he does like things, he does like those burgers out in the world that look perfect. It's more pleasing to him. So you have to know your audience, right? So I know my audience, and so at first, though, I'm just trying to get them done. So you have to let them cool so you can touch them. What you do is I just made patties, and I put them on the pan and put them in the oven. And he didn't complain. But then one time I went to a cooking class, and they're like, oh, you should do this. And I thought, oh, well, that's wise, and I'll try that. So I got a canning jar. And if you put it in the canning jar, it's too hot, I can't do it. But if you put it in the canning jar and take your pan and you plop it right down, you're going to get a perfect burger. Now, you can make this size for like a breakfast burger, and this is the size you're going to get today. And but you can make, I have water right here. Sorry. Okay, you can do the bigger canning jars, that are the size of a patty, okay? You can put the oatmeal with all the seasoning. Hey, Raj, you can take this back now. Thanks. You can put it in there. You can make it thicker or more thin. I like them a little more thin because I don't like them mushy inside. My daughter, Mackenzie, I actually called her. She's in Washington. She says, "Oh, I used to eat that raw when we made it," which you can, but she likes it more mushy. So you have to know, right? So you just put it in there, you plop it down, and you push the little canning thing to get it out. I put the saran wrap because it keeps it, it gets gushy and stuff. And so this keeps it clean, more clean when you're doing it. And then if you have to, you can change this halfway through. But you can make big burgers. Okay, what I do is, when I do these, I make a whole bunch. And then you cook them, you bake them, or you can put them on a little frying pan thing with no oil or whatever, but you can cook them that way too. We put them in the oven for you today, and they cook. Then you bring them out. If you let them cool, you can freeze them. Okay, then you have your frozen veggie burgers that you go buy at the store. You have them. You saw the ingredients, right? It's a lot less expensive this way, and you know what's in them, and it was all good foods for you. So yeah, you can use the 2 different jar sizes. If you don't have canning jars, you can use whatever lids you have, okay? And then so what you do is I put them on a baking sheet, and I put them in the oven, and then I flip them halfway through, and you just watch. It depends on your oven. And you can do about 350 or whatever your typical. And it's just basically, you're not trying to kill any salmonella or anything. You're just drying them out, okay? You're just cooking them so they're dry. They don't stick. They might stick a little, so you just kind of have to. But they didn't stick much, and I wasn't using. I can do them with parchment paper. Some people like the silicone mats or whatever. You can do that if you don't want them. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. I'm going to change my gloves because I coughed in them. Thank you. He's taking care of y'all. It was just a little. It's not a sickness. Okay. Any other questions? Yes. Mm-hmm. So she's saying just do them low. Yeah. Oh, no, it wasn't a question. It was advice, which I love advice. When you're cooking these on a pan on the stove, just do it low heat and do it slowly. Yeah. So many times, all the oil is doing is my hands are sweaty, so can I just have the bigger ones? Yeah, the oil's just making it so we can rush through things, right? Because really, it's not going to stick if we take our time. So, okay, good. The oat patties are done. Let us move forward. We are going to do, unless there's any other questions. All right. Let's go and make this is so fun. We can do, since this is on, I'm going to do scrambled tofu. Yes.
You said 350 for baking. How long?
So I would say like 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes on each side. But it just depends on your stove. So the first time, just keep watching them. I mean, your oven. Sorry. See, not a professional. Okay, we're going to go ahead and make granola. And I don't know about you, but I always have to have a big bowl for my granola. I don't know why. It just makes me happy to make. Did I say scrambled tofu? I'm going to make the scrambled tofu. Yes. The stove is on. Let's make scrambled tofu. Okay. So I know many of you have had scrambled tofu before. If you look under, I should have had these posts. Scrambled tofu, it's the second page. Second page, isn't it? Under the chili seasoning and then down below. Or are you guys looking at a different? Third page. Third page. It says chili seasoning on the top, and then go down to scrambled tofu. Keep looking if you... All right. Can you just put it down right now? Okay. And I need a frying pan. Okay. So here's my little special ingredient thing. You'll notice this is from, I'm going to do it on here instead. Actually, you can take that because I won't need it. Scrambled tofu. I love this woman. Her name is San Turnbull. She's on the internet, and she has a site that says it doesn't taste like chicken. Now, when you go on there, or if you're going to go on there right now, she does use oil, so I still love her. I just try to make things without the oil. I kind of change things around. But she's from Canada, and she's got some fun things, some fun recipes, and she has videos. So, yeah. So what I did, she has a recipe for her scrambled tofu seasoning. So what she did is she created, and I'm sure it's not that hard, but she created a seasoning which she keeps in her pantry. I love it. And so I wanted to share it with you. Many of you might have your own scrambled tofu. That's fine. I'm not saying that this one is more superior, I think so, than yours. But I like this one. The reason I like this is so many times we get scared to make something because, I have to find all these seasonings and put them together. I wanted a seasoning that I could put together and I could depend on that would be the same all the time. I do different things with my scrambled tofu, but I like this. The other thing is, too, I didn't like meat, but I did kind of like eggs growing up. So this has this black salt in it, and this black salt has a sulfur content that kind of smells like egg. So you might smell it when it's cooking. So if you are having someone in your family that is really, really wanting the egg, this might be a good scrambled tofu to start with and to try because it tastes a lot like scrambled egg. Yes. Indian stores carry it. Do you have an Indian store around here? Because we did not know. So this, where did you? Yeah, she bought this online, and I think at home where I bought it, it was online. It was probably a little cheaper online too. So you can buy this, and now there's black salt, which is black, which has a high sulfur, but we want the one that's not black. We like the pinkish one. So, okay. So what I did in my jar, I put a half a cup of nutritional yeast, and if it is the big flake nutritional yeast, I like to blend it in my coffee grinder or my little food processor because I like my seasonings to. I think when they're cut like that they soak into the tofu better. So I did that, or actually my wonderful helpers did this. A half a cup of nutritional yeast, 4 teaspoons of this salt, 3 teaspoons of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of turmeric. Now, we tripled or quadrupled that, and I put it in a jar, and now I can use that. So for every block of tofu, you use 2 tablespoons of this. Okay? Or if you think it's too strong, you can cut it back. Or if you think it needs a little bit more, you can do that. So I'm going to take the tofu, which has a little bit of liquid built up on it. Just going to do that in here. And I'm going to take the tofu, and I'm going to crumble it. Now, this tofu is water packed. So we cut it, we actually drained it, and then we just put it back in here so you could see. We like this make. It's organic. It's from Nasoya, and it actually, I get the extra firm, okay? But you can get the firm, but I like to get the extra firm. So, Roger, what you could do is just hold the pan up so they can kind of see what it looks like. Because all I'm doing is breaking it in, that might be hot, breaking it into the pan. Okay, that's all I do is just break it with my clean glove. Yes. Go ahead.
I was trying to make it double for a large group of people.
You can put it down.
I accidentally bought silken, but I had to feed people, so I had to put it in.
Yeah.
And it's actually the two textures because
Was nice.
have two textures.
Nice. Okay. So a happy accident can always come out as a blessing. So that's great. And I have 2 tablespoons of this already seasoned, and doesn't seem like it's. No, it was this one. And I'm just going to sprinkle it on there. And we're just going to stir it up. That is it. And now, here's the fun thing with tofu. If you want to put vegetables in it, if you want to put spinach or peppers or onions or more garlic or whatever greens you want, kale, you can put tomatoes in it. You can have fun with this. Why I don't do it, and this is the way I wanted you to taste it like this today, because so many people put stuff in to hide the tofu. I wanted you to taste the tofu today, number 1. Number 2, I like to make it at the beginning of the week and leave it in my refrigerator, just plain, because I can always add things to it. And I like to do, like, if I want a burrito, I'll throw it in there. If I want a little breakfast sandwich, I'll put it on some toast. And so sometimes I don't want all those other flavors. So I always make a batch like this, plain. But if you want to do different things, do it. So all you're doing, I don't know if this is on. Yeah, I think it went down. So all you're going to do is cook it up. And the reason why I know it's not cooking is because it's not turning yellow. The turmeric in it there's going to be another chemical reaction. The turmeric will make it look yellow and pretty. And it's an antioxidant, so it's an advantage for you. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time cooking it, but that's basically it. You're just going to want, and notice it's dry. There's no water leaking out of it, because sometimes people make tofu and there's water and all that stuff. You want it to dry. And I have a question back here. Yes? Oh, well, mine lasts for a few days. Okay, so one thing about food that's actually food, you'll know if it goes bad. It's amazing. It's not like McDonald's French fries that you find in your car, and like 5 years later, it looks like what you just bought from McDonald's. If something goes bad in your refrigerator, you'll probably smell it or see it. So first of all, food doesn't last very long in our refrigerator because we eat it. But I've lasted it for like about 3 or 4 days. When I'm alone, if he's traveling or whatever, I'll make it and I'll eat it all week. So. Oh, the seasoning? Well, because it just depends on how much you want to make. But it should last a good time. Think of did any of you, like, maybe it's just me, when I got married, I actually wanted some of my mom's seasonings just because it was, I guess, memory or whatever. And I went in, and some of her containers were like ancient. They're like those metal ones. Well, I still use them. You should probably use fresher seasonings, but, I'm still alive talking to you, right? So, I wouldn't make a huge ton of this, but using this it just depends on your family size. So you could make a smaller amount and keep it. I just like it done so I don't have to measure everything out if I'm running out the door, and I'm trying to be practical with this. All right, you can take this. It needs to be cooked a little bit longer, probably. Yeah. So what I do is we couldn't find another can. I would put a lid on there. No, I just leave it out. And I don't know, because I'm in California and we're very dry. So here, I'm not sure what you need to do to shelf is fine. Okay, I didn't know if it was too moist here or whatever, but yeah. And I have a drawer that with all my seasonings, and I write on the lid, so when I open it up, the ones I use all the time I have, and then I can pull. I'm trying to get everyone to understand you need to make this easy for you. Otherwise, you're not going to do it. Make it fun. Clean out your kitchen. Bring in the stuff that you need so you can find it and have things available. Get a few new tools if you want. If it'll make you cook, do it. It's worth it. Okay? All right. Yeah, it will. Yeah. It'll be good. All right. So, okay, let's do the I'm gonna maybe sorry. Let me do the granola. All right. Because I got my big bowl before. Okay. The granola, I love to do it in a big bowl because when you go to mix something and stuff's flying all over the place and it's no fun, I like big bowls because when you throw things in, you don't have to worry about making a mess. It's all in here. So the no oil granola, can someone tell me what page it's on? It's on the last page. The front of for them. It's on your last page. Is it on your last page? I have it. Okay. Did everyone find it? It says no oil granola. When you go to the grocery store and you buy the boxes of granola that are way overpriced, okay, you're going to look at the ingredients, and there's going to be this long list of ingredients, and a lot of it is stuff that you don't need and you don't want. So I have this no oil granola, and I like it because we're trying to get you to use less oil, okay? Now, the trick of this is it does have oil in it. Ha-ha. So we're going to use our blender. Raj, let me get that. We're going to use our blender because I'm going to show you where the oil is. All right. So we're going to take rolled oats, so the old-fashioned oats is what they're called, right? We're going to take 7 cups. And this was measured out, so that's why I'm pouring this in, but it was measured out. So 7 cups of rolled oats, so the big oats. You're going to throw that in your bowl. Well, hold on. It says 7 cups of 7 cups of large cups, which it shouldn't say that. It should say 7 cups of large oats. Correct that. Okay? And then 1 cup of quick oats. Now, if you're going to say, well, I don't have quick oats and I don't really need them, or I don't want to buy them, here's the trick. You don't have to have them for this. The reason why it's on this is it's a little bit of a binder, okay? It helps bind the flavor onto the oats, number 1. Number 2, these are the same things as the large oats. It's just they're cut. So if you want to take your large oats and put them in a food processor and pulse it twice or 3 times, there's your cut oats. Okay, so if you don't want 2 different canisters at home, that's fine. A couple things about oats we try to do at home is we're going to cook this. We're going to cook this for about 2 hours. We would rather have you, we would rather you toast your oats. You'll buy oats that say they're toasted, but you don't know how long they're toasted. Okay? So and the reason why is there is some research, because none of us are cows. You know how cows ruminate on the oats for a long, long time before they go into their whatever, how many stomachs do they have? We don't do that, right? So sometimes people have a hard time with oats, or sometimes there's research that shows that there's plaques in the brain from starches that weren't properly eaten. So to help you with that, if you're going to make granola, you're pretty much cooking it or toasting it, so you don't have to do it for this. But let's just say that you like to eat raw oats, okay? When you're letting it sit in a oat milk, a nut milk or something overnight, that's good because it's breaking it down. But let's just say you want to. Bailey, my youngest, loves raw oats. She'll put raw oats and then she'll put fruit with it. She just loves that. So what I do is I take oats and I put them on a cookie sheet and I put them in a very low oven, about 200, and I let them toast for a few hours. And then I bring them out, I let them cool, I put them back in a container, and I mark toasted oats. And those are the oats that she can eat raw. I'm not sure, but I'd rather do that, right? And if someone's having a hard time with oats, digesting them, you might want to do that. Or you might want to just make sure you make your oatmeal overnight or things like that. They need to be processed more than you can process them with your teeth. Does that make sense? So if I make oatmeal, I don't worry about it because they're pretty much cooked. Okay, but if you're trying to eat them raw, if you want to make oatmeal cookies, you're basically cooking them, so that's okay. But for Bailey, I have to do this because she wants raw oats, okay? So I'm going to put the cut oats in for a binder. There's no really, a cup of it. So I have 7 and then a cup. So overall, I have 8 cups of oats, okay? And then I put in a cup of, and this was all pre-measured, but I have unsweetened coconut flakes, okay? Not the sweetened ones, ladies and gentlemen, but and I put a cup of that in, and this was measured out. So I'm going to put a cup of coconut. If you don't like coconut, don't put the coconut in, okay? And then I put a cup of almonds. Now, I'm putting almonds in our granola today because almonds are the least not liked nut. Is that a good way to say it? If you like almonds, if you like walnuts, if you like pecans, if you like whatever kind of nuts, put them in. It calls for a cup, so just whatever you want. If you want to do a 1/4 cup of a bunch of nuts, do that. Does that make sense? I'm just putting the almonds in today because you're all tasting it, and I didn't know if there was any allergies, and usually people aren't allergic to almonds. So that's why I'm doing sliced almonds. You could put whole almonds in if you choose to, but I like the sliced. Excuse me? Yes, I believe so. Yes. And I just noticed that I'm missing something in this demo, which is probably my fault. I need a 1/2 cup. Let's see. Oh, here we're going to take a vote. Who wants honey or maple syrup? Oh, okay. 1/2 cup of maple syrup, please. Okay, let's not fight here. Okay. So we're gonna do now. So we have the dry, and I'm gonna take a little spoon and I'm gonna stir that up. Can all of you do what I just did? We're making an oatmeal, and it's very easy, and you should have all the ingredients, or you should be able to find those, okay? So you're going to stir that up. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 3/4 of a cup of raw sunflower seeds. Has anyone tried to figure out where my oil is coming from? I'm going to put those in the blender, raw sunflower seeds. All right? And then I'm going to put 1 cup of water, which I don't have, but I'm going to use this right here. because I am trying to make this work. I'm going to put 1 cup of water in, and I'm going to do a 1/2 cup of maple syrup, which I'm sure is coming in fast. This is sunflower seeds. Yeah, can you put it right here? Because I need it for something I took out right here. Thank you. So we're going to put our maple syrup. Okay, so that's our sweetener. We don't want to take sweetener away from you. We're not trying to, but we're not going to put white sugar, or we're going to put a good sweetener in there. Okay, so I put that in, and now this is where you need to add this. We're going to add in a teaspoon of salt, and I put it into the liquid instead of the dry. Lots of recipes tell you to put your salt in here, but what happens is if I put the salt there and then I put liquid, it's going to go right to that little piece of oat, and you're going to have salty oats in that one bite. So I'm going to put the salt in my liquid, okay? So you have to add that in. Add 1 teaspoon of salt. We're trying to keep you thinking here. We forgot to put that in there. So add salt to the liquid, okay? And I'm going to start that up. I need a pan to put the granola. All right. That was probably, we probably did that too long, but it doesn't matter. Guess what this is? It's sunflower seed milk. So you could actually put this on some cereal if you wanted to. All right, because there's nothing that needs to be cooked in here. It's just sunflower seeds and water, and it has some maple syrup. So, all right, so here it is, and this is going to be your liquid on your granola. So I just pour it on, and all I'm going to do is mix it up. Here's where the oil comes from. Sunflower seeds have natural oil, correct? How many of you have used sunflower seed oil or sunflower seed butter? So we're using God's natural oil, but it's not processed except for the Vitamix. The Vitamix processed it, but you are in charge of it, and you see where it's coming from. So all we do is put in here. Now, this is the fun for kids. So when my kids were little, they're not little anymore, I had a chalkboard in my kitchen. So I'm trying to teach them some math and some concepts. So I would put 4 sticks, right? Or I would have them put them. So I want to cook this for 2 hours at 30 minutes a pop, right? So I'm going to put it in the pan. You could put parchment paper down if you want. If you don't have a big pan like this and a big oven, which we do in here, I would do 2 pans, because if you do the 2 pans, it can be a single layer, and then you just switch them in your oven like every 30 minutes. So all you do is you pour it on here. You pour it on, you spread it out, you put it in your oven at 250. Do not try to go up high. Don't say, hey, I only have half hour before I have to run to the store, so I'm going to put it at 350. You don't want that. First of all, oats, when they're at high heat, they start stinking, so they taste bad. But also you want a slow bake. Okay, so you put them in here, you spread it out, you put it in your oven, and then the kids are in charge of timing. So they can watch the clock or they can start a timer, and every 30 minutes you just pull it out and you stir it around. Usually the sides cook faster, so you move the sides in and you put the other part out, and you just want it to dry. And you will get to taste this granola in a few minutes. We're getting close. And I want you to know. So what I do, because some people say, oh, but I like to add this and this and this. I guess I like it plain. And then I put it I let it cool. I put it in a container, an airtight container. And then when the kids were younger, we don't have as much. I had like this oatmeal granola center type thing. So I had all my dried fruits, and you have your nuts and things like that, and they can go and add whatever they want to their granola. Okay? The next recipe I'm going to make is a yummy addition to granola as a special treat. This should not be a daily thing, but a special treat. We always called it our Sabbath treat, and I would make the next recipe. So I'm going to throw this into the oven with help from my wonderful team. And let's move over to, it's going to be the yogurt. Yeah, where is that? The strawberry. Right before the granola on the bottom. I'm going to make a strawberry tofu yogurt. And this is from, does anyone have the Tasty Vegan Delight cookbook? It's a great oldie but goodie. I don't know if anyone has one. The woman that created this, Gloria Lawson, it was really cute. I'll tell you this story because we have time. I think we have time. The kitchen's like looking at me like, no. So we were doing a program up in Canada, and that's where she's from. And we were doing all this, and my kids would be in the kitchen doing all this help that these wonderful young people are doing. But my kids would be in there, and I was doing the cooking class, and all of a sudden, I recognized somebody from this cookbook. The author was in the room watching me use her recipe. A little nerve-wracking, but not too much. But she was in there, and so my kids, it was really cute. My kids were like, oh, there's a star in the audience. So they would peek around, and they took the cookbook and got her to sign it and all that stuff. So this is a little variation from hers. Well, actually, it's not variation. The funny thing was, I actually had to kind of tell her that we had to edit it because the kids were like, she put on there 2 cups of strawberries twice, and it was wrong. So we had to edit her a little bit, but it worked out fine. She loved us still. Gloria Lawson, she's since passed away, but she was definitely a person that started vegan cooking when we're spoiled now, right? Because you can go to the grocery store and get yogurts, right? But guess what? You look at the yogurts that you're buying and decide, because this is going to have the sugar of your choice. You're going to put your sugar in here, and it's as much as you want it, and you can do less or more if you want. Okay, so let's make this yogurt. We're going to do cashews. I have tried this with sunflower seeds, so if you're not a cashew fan or you're feeling like you're eating too many cashews, you can try sunflower seeds. But I'm going to put how much? 1/3 cup of raw cashews that are rinsed. And I'm going to put 2 cups of frozen strawberries that aren't too frozen anymore because we put them out early, but 2 cups. And listen, you can do whatever fruit you want. It doesn't have to be strawberries, or you can do a combination. So you can taste it the way it is today, and you can have fun with it. The more frozen it is, if you have a regular blender, you might want to let it thaw out just a little bit, but it's going to work today. And then I'm going to put 1/8 teaspoon of salt, so just a little bit of salt. We were talking about being fresh the other day. Salt kicks in some good flavors. So don't be afraid of putting a little bit of salt in your foods. 1/8 of a teaspoon, that's not much, right? And then 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon. I think this is 2. I'm hoping it is. I like 2 tablespoons because it gives it that tang of real yogurt. So the yogurt, the strawberries there, okay? And then 1/3 of a cup of honey, okay? 1/3 of a cup of honey. And like I just said, you can decrease that or increase it if you want. You don't want it to taste too much like honey, though, so you have to, but you can do a combination. You could do a berry mix or whatever you want to do on that, okay? There's the honey, and then I do a package of Mori New Extra Firm. So this is just open. That's why it's in a saran wrap. So it has a tiny bit of water, but not that much, so we drained that out before we started. Now, Mori New tofu comes in these containers. It's not in the refrigerated section. It's usually on the shelf. And the nice thing is you can have these for a longer period of time instead of the regular tofu because it's whatever, vacuum packed or whatever. So you can use this. I like to use the Mori New when I want it really smooth. Let's say I'm making a pie, some sort of dessert where I want smooth. It's smooth, and it breaks. It's totally different texture than the scrambled tofu. So, in the refrigerator, there is a. Can you get the tofu? So and this is great because for those that don't want to do soy, somebody just introduced me to Pumfu. It is pumpkin. It's pumpkin seed tofu instead of soy tofu. Okay, I didn't make it with it, but it has the same texture. So this would be something you might want to try. I'm going to look for it when I get home and try it on some recipes. It's pumfu, and the only ingredients is organic pumpkin seeds and filtered water. Now, Dr. Gallant will probably tell you what pumpkin seeds are good for, but I'm not going to steal his thunder. He'll tell you at the program. So this is really great. I'm going to try this because not that I don't want soy, but I like variation. I don't want to eat too much of anything because I believe that when we may eat too much of anything, our bodies might kick in and start rebelling a little. And then the other recipe I wanted to try too, which I should have done today with you all, was you can take red lentils and make a tofu substitute with red lentils. Thank you. I don't know why, but I think we're okay. So, I'm going to start this up. Let's get this going. Can I have a bowl? All right, so this yogurt is like I said, it's a special treat, everybody, right? We're not going to eat it every day. But this is yummy, and it's really yummy over the granola. And let me pour it in so you can see how pretty it is. It's a lovely yogurt. And now this won't, first of all, it's not going to last because you're going to eat it fast. But it does not store for a long time. So I would say 2 to 3 days, but it'll be gone in 1 day. So that's your yogurt, and it's a lot of fun, and you can try different flavors and things like that. You're going to get to taste that in a few minutes. That is a very good question. I've never tried it. Try it and let me know. I bet you could. You could do that. Oh, nice. All right. Well, see, okay, here's the fun thing about eating like this is you can be creative. I mean, how creative can you be with a piece of steak, right? You got to cook it, you got to cut it, you got to eat it. But think of you have to start thinking outside the box of what you like and what you like to do. Okay, I got to do 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 more. Oh, they're going to get mad at me. Okay, so let me do this. Let me do this. Can someone find the nacho cheese? Find out where the nacho cheese recipe is, because it's a fast one. It's opposite of oat burgers. This is good. It's keeping you thinking here. All right, the nacho cheese. Now, I'm going to be honest. I did not like meat, but I did like cheese. And so when I found this recipe, and it comes from the NEWSTART Lifestyle Cookbook, which I believe are on sale upstairs, so if you'd like to purchase one, but you have this recipe, so that's good. All right, this recipe, now I'm going to confess, because my husband played hockey, because he grew up in Canada. He went from Jamaica to Canada, so he played hockey, and he would take me when we were not eating well in our marriage. We were living near Pittsburgh, and he took me to a hockey game. I don't like hockey. All they're doing is beating up each other and swearing, and I don't like it. But you know what? I did like the nachos. And so I would go to the hockey game happy because I knew I could get nachos, right? Okay. So, you got to make things work. So when I tasted this nacho cheese sauce, now that probably is going to be like, it was not good for you. But this is good for you, and it has that taste. So let's go for it. We're going to do our blender again. If you have a regular blender, soak your cashews and use your regular blender, and then pray that someone's going to give you a nice Vitamix for Christmas. All right, 1 cup of raw cashews. And we're going to use pimentos. You can buy little diced pimentos, the big jarred, right? Okay. We're just using so this is about 2 ounces of pimento. I'm throwing it in. Yes, I know some of you are going to say you can use carrots and potatoes and everything like that, but taste this one. All right. So a 2-ounce jar of pimento, a tablespoon of lemon juice. You got to have that lemon juice. Okay, fresh lemons is the very best, but it's all right. And then we have 1 teaspoon of onion powder, okay, a teaspoon of salt, and then a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, okay? And my garlic, okay. The moisture in the air has made it kind of dry in there. Okay, all right. Now let me do that, and then I'm going to talk to you about this when I get done with this. No. Oh, what am I missing? 1 cup of water. Yeah, but I'm wondering, okay, good. Like this little lid. 1 cup of water. Thank you, everybody that's using your brains. I'm thinking about other stuff. All right, let's turn it on. Okay, I did it longer. If you keep, the nice thing about, I'm not doing advertisements. I'm really not trying to sell these. But you can make soup from a Vitamix. So the longer I mixed it, the thicker it was going to get. But if it's not as thick as you want, you just pour it into a pan and thicken it up, okay? But it did pretty well. So here it is. There's your nacho sauce. I believe you can. I would try another nut. I don't see why you cannot. I would probably start with sunflower seeds or almonds and see. Yeah. Okay. Yummy. And guess what? You guys got a plate of nacho sauce in there. You're all getting out your own. So it is very yummy. Now you can use this like this. Or today, we put a little bit of the chili seasoning there, right before it or after. Yeah, the page before, I gave you a chili seasoning that you can make your own chili seasoning, okay? And this is better for your body because we don't really want to make our blood spicy and hot because it's not good for us, right? It's not actually good for our brains. So this is a chili seasoning that's going to be better for you. And you can make your own, like here, so you can have the chili seasoning and your chicken seasoning and you can use this to make chili with beans. You can use this for anything that you want a little chili flavoring. But I like to put it in, I'm going to leave this one plain, but you can put it in your nacho sauce, which you are going to taste it with the chili seasoning. But all I would do is put it in when you're blending or afterwards. So if you wanted to put half of this in and make it a nacho sauce and then use the other side, you could actually use this for a macaroni and cheese if you wanted something like that. I don't use any of the heavy. I try not to. At times I do, I'm going to confess, but I try not to. And we're doing that mainly for our minds. Okay? We want our minds clear. And so sometimes when we do seasoning like that, it is not it clouds our minds. So, okay? All right. So here's our nacho sauce. Isn't it pretty? And you can and it does also he's so coy. It causes inflammation also. So, and here's the thing. You can ask the doctor a great question after the next because he'll do more of the medicinal thing. But yeah, we have tried to stay away from certain ones. Okay. No, sorry. Like cayenne peppers and things like that. No, we're not. Eat the nacho sauce. Doesn't cause inflammation. Okay. Okay, I have, 3 more. Are you good? Are any of you rushing? Okay, because I don't want to. Okay, let's do our almond milk. Okay, I wanted to make a nut milk. You can go to the grocery store now and find lots of different milks. Oat milk, almond milk, hemp milk, whatever. I like the fact that if we're not able to get to the grocery store or we want to control what we're taking in, okay, we want to make it ourselves. This is I want to show you how easy and inexpensive it is because so many times I hear, I can't afford to become a plant-based. Things are so expensive. Well, let me show you how to make an almond milk. Now, you can do this with any nut you want, but I'm going to do almond. The other thing, because I actually love almonds. The other thing, too, is I'm going to do them just from a raw. We just bought this raw canister of almonds, okay? I'm not going to take the time. You can soak them and take all that skin off, but guess what? I think the skin's good. It's fiber, right? So your milk that you're going to taste today is going to look white, but it might have a little bit of specks. But I know people that go and eat ice cream, vanilla ice cream that has specks, and they pay millions. So I know you don't mind it, but I know some people are like, I can't drink a nut milk that has little specks. Well, I think the specks are healthy, so you're drinking my milk today. But if you want to, you can take the milk and you can put it through a strainer or a cheesecloth and squeeze all that fiber out. The sad thing is, when you look at the fiber that you're missing, I'd rather just shake it up each time and drink it because I think it's better for you. So let me do it real fast. Ingredients. Can someone tell me what the ingredients are? Okay, how many ingredients is that? Okay, so we're going to do water. So we're going to do a little bit of the water first just to get it. So we're going to do 3/4 of a cup of water. Do I have all the rest of the water that I need? Is it all in here? I don't think so, because I used it. I know, but I don't have any more. So I'm probably going to need a little more, but you're going to get one that we've already made. Okay, let's just throw this stuff in. So we have the almonds. Now 2/3 cup of almonds, and you're going to then see how much milk we're going to have. I'm going to have to see. It might not be accurate. Okay, and then I'm going to do 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, just a tiny bit of salt. Okay, and I'm going to do a teaspoon of honey. If you do not want, you're going to taste it today. You can tell me if it tastes too sweet. But I like having a little bit of sugar with the nut. You can tell me. If you don't want the honey, then don't put it in. It's as easy as that, because guess what? You're making your nut milk, right? So you can do it how you want it. And then I'm going to blend that, and then we're going to put the rest of this water in. We're going to see. All right. I might just need a little bit more. The what? Out of the way? Oh, okay. All right. So I'm just going to keep that going. What I'm going to do is open this up, and I'm going to put the rest of the water in. So why I did that was to get those almonds smooth, and then now we're going to add the rest of the water. And we're going to blend it up. And I need another pan to put and Roger, the granola bowl. All right. Now, let me show you what this milk looks like. Here it is. You've got your almond milk, and you're going to get to taste it today. So what I would do, put it in a container, put it in the refrigerator. I would put it in a container that I can shake back up, okay? You can use this for any recipe that calls for milk, okay? Because I don't drink milk with my meals anymore because I don't drink with my meals, right? But you can put this over your oatmeal. You can make gravy with it. Anything that calls for a milk you can use for any recipe, muffins or whatever like that, okay? It only used 2/3 cup of almonds. That's cheap, considering they're going for like $4 and $5 for a milk. And there's so many other ingredients in it, right? Yes. Okay, so he's saying there's research that shows that the almond milk that you buy, it's like less than 2% of actual almonds. So you notice I put almonds, water, right? And then the salt and the honey. So what are we putting in ourselves? We get to control that. So I want you to taste it. Now, Here's what, and I shouldn't say it, but don't sit there and go, I want to see if it tastes like milk. No, it's going to taste like almonds. Okay, so don't tell yourself, and then, when you're eating, I'm going to tell you another story. Remind me. Someone needs to say macaroni, and I'll remember the story. Okay, all right. Real quick, we're going to make a caramel corn. Oh no. Sorry. I don't think I'm going to. You know what? I might just talk through this because we're running late and this is going to take too long. Okay. So caramel corn. You're going to pop a half did everyone find where it is? All right, it's above the strawberry tofu. Yes. Okay. So, what you're going to do is you're going to pop a half a cup of kernels, okay? If you need an air popper, that's the best thing to do these days. You don't want microwave popcorn or anything. So have an old-fashioned air popper. You can actually do it in a pot if you want, but I think you probably need a little. Has anyone done it in a pot without oil? Yeah, if I do it in a pot, I have to do a little bit of oil, but that won't hurt. So air popper's best. So this is a half a cup of popcorn popped. Does that make sense? Okay, because it's not. Okay, so you put that in here, and then you take a pan, and in that pan, it's all right. Do I have time? Okay. In that pan, I'm going to put these ingredients. You can use almond butter if you want, or peanut butter. So this is peanut butter. I'm going to put that in a saucepan. And then I'm going to put, how much was it? It was a 1/4 cup of natural peanut butter. Okay, you understand Jif and Skippy are not peanut butter, right? Those are peanut, what do they call them? Peanut spreads. Yeah, they can't even call themselves peanut butter because they don't have very much. So you want to get the natural peanut butters and the natural almond butters, okay? I grew up on Jif. I cannot stand Jif now because now that I've gotten used to, and I love peanut butter. Now that I got used to it, the natural one, I can't go back. So I get it. Some of you have this, long relationship with Jif and Skippy. Get over it. Try the other one, and your taste buds will change. Okay, so I'm going to put peanut butter in the saucepan, and I'm going to put then 1/4 of a cup of. It says 1/4 of a maple syrup, but you need to put 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup, so correct that on there. 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup. And then you're going to put a tablespoon of blackstrap molasses. I'm not going to, who groaned about blackstrap molasses? Okay. You probably could because you're not going to, it's going to be spread. So we're going to ask the doctor. He's going to talk to you about blackstrap molasses today, so I won't go into that. But this is, tomorrow. Oh, you have to come back tomorrow. If you're anemic, come see me afterwards because this is your drug of choice. Okay. But you're going to put blackstrap molasses in there, okay? And then what you're going to do is and 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Don't forget the salt. It's somewhere here. 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt in the saucepan. You're going to let it come to a boil, and you're going to be stirring it the whole time. It's going to make a caramel sauce. Let it boil for about 30 seconds or something. And then what you're going to do is take that. It's very hot, so please be careful with little ones. You're going to take that, and you're going to pour it onto your popcorn, and you're going to take spoons, and you're going to just mix it up kind of like we did the granola in a big bowl because it's fun to do it in a big bowl, not fun in a little bowl. And you are going to then put it on a pan. So you're going to pour this on a pan, and you're going to put it in a low oven, about 200, and you're going to let it cool or dry. The caramel needs to dry onto the popcorn. Now, we had a little problem last night because I was making this last night, and I had some people coming in and trying it. You can try it without cooking it. You can eat it right without baking it, okay? But if you want to keep it for a little bit, which it won't, it's going to go so fast. But if you want to keep it, bake it. But it is better baked. I like it. But you can eat it right off the pan. It's not going to hurt anybody. Okay. So I had to beat some people away last night because they were going to eat all your popcorn. So we cooked it, and then what I did was I let it cool, and then we put it in airtight containers, and you have caramel corn, okay? But it's healthy caramel corn, so guess what? You don't have to worry about your kids taking a little bit extra because it's peanut butter, okay? It's good for them. You know where it's coming from. It doesn't have the corn syrups and all that, okay? So there's your caramel corn that you're going to get to eat. And do I just have one left? Nice. I need that put back in. Okay. So I have an extra recipe that didn't get on here. So I'm going to do it real fast for you. And this is a recipe that my daughter, well, we kind of created because of other kale recipes, and this is the one we like. This recipe I make usually on a weekly basis, and I make a big container of it, and I leave it in my refrigerator all week. And all my afternoon meals, if I can't get a fresh salad or whatever, I eat this kale salad, and it's yummy. You know, in the winter and things when you can't get that fresh salad. So here, I'm going to make it real quick for you, and then we're going to start serving food. So what we do for this recipe is you wash kale. It's called kale salad. Yeah, you write it in. Sorry, I didn't say it. So thank you. No, I love the interaction. Just write kale salad on your thing, and you're going to tell. Now, all the ingredients, it just matters how big your kale salad's going to look. So you can vary this is a small batch because we made a huge batch yesterday for you. So you take kale that's been washed, and I'm going to just tear it up and put it in here. I'm also going to I like the tart apples, so I have tart green Granny Smith type apples. I just cut them up, and it just depends on your food processor. If you don't have a food processor, it's kind of a pain. It's so much easier. And carrots. So carrots and apples. Put those in here. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pulse it because people get scared about kale. So I like to chop it up. I'd like to do some of the chewing for you, okay? But I don't do it to it, but I just chop it up in a bowl. And you make it however you want to make it, but let me show you. Oh, that pretty bowl keeps coming out. Roger, I'm the cookie. I'm not done. You do a little bit at a time because your processor, if you keep piling it in, you're going to get pieces that don't cut. So you put a little bit in here, and you keep making that until you are done. There we go. We keep putting it in. Oh, wait. This happened last night. We forgot to put the blade in. Keep putting this in, and I'm just going to do 2 more, and then I'm going to show you, and then we're going to start serving you food, and then I will talk you through the rest of it. So, all right. Okay. Okay, you can do it as fine as you like, but if you notice, the kale is like little pieces, and people can handle kale more like that when they're starting to get to know. Because remember, I'm trying to get you guys to start eating like this, so I'm going to do things a little bit different. Yesterday, we had a beautiful salad, and that is the most ideal, right? The most raw is the most ideal, but I want to get families to eat more greens, so this is a good way to start them. I would continue doing this, and then I have the salad. Now, what I'm going to do for the salad dressing is I do an equal parts of lemon and maple syrup. So it's not a heavy dressing, it's more of what do you call it, a marinade or something? So this is the lemon and the maple syrup, and I do equal parts, but actually I say equal parts, but put a little extra lemon in because it has a nice tang. Okay? So it's lemon and maple syrup equal parts. Do you understand what that means, equal parts? 1 cup to 1 cup, 1/4 to 1/4. So that's equal parts. Okay? And then you pour it on your salad. I'm not going to put all that on because that was for more then. But you just mix it in. And then you add almonds. So sliced almonds. And you add, for color, you don't have to do this, but you can add cherries, but these are craisins. So I add craisins for a little pretty and a little tart sweet. And this is a wonderful salad. And if you notice, it's a meal because you have the almonds and you've got your kale and you've got your lemon. You know, lemon has protein in it, so you have a lot of good protein. And the kale is wonderful. And you could even actually, if you wanted to, do other greens instead of just the kale. But taste this today and tell me what you think. But isn't it pretty? It's a really pretty salad, and it's yummy. And I take this to parties all the time. If I'm invited somewhere, I take this because people are amazed, and it tastes good, and it tastes fresh, like good fresh. And it's yummy. So, all right. Did I do everything, everybody? All right. Yes, it's a mess, but it's clean. All right. They're going to start feeding you, and I want you to ask questions. Any questions you have while you're eating. I would like your feedback. I'd love feedback. But I want you to try things, and they're going to give you everything. So I'm going to pray for a blessing on the food. Father, I just thank you so very much that we've learned so many ways of using your simple foods to make so many types of food. I ask that you bless it now and help them to all enjoy it. And we thank you, Lord, for supplying it for us. And we thank you and ask this all in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen. What I want to tell you is, I am not giving you a typical meal. We do not eat all this. We don't eat all this type of food at one meal. So you're getting a taste. And, for me, I could make a meal out of this. Okay? So we're going to give you a bunch of food right now. Try it. You don't have to finish it all, but it will fill you up. And this food, that's the nice thing about it is, when you're having kids, you don't have to tell them to stop. Like we ate, I'll tell you I can tell you. You guys can start serving. Roger, you guys can start serving. Everything. You can start with the chips or whatever. Okay, so the first thing I think that's coming out is the granola. I think granola's coming out or not. I don't know. I'm going to leave that to them. I'll talk with you. So, yes. Oh, thank you. I'll tell you the macaroni story. So, when we first started this lifestyle, we had a gentleman come to our church and tell us about it, and Roger and I went and met with him. Some of you maybe have met with the doctor this week. Well, we did the same thing with this health evangelist, and he told us what we should do and how we should try to do 2 meals, and Roger and I felt convicted to do that. So we drove home from this meeting with this gentleman, and we picked up the kids because they were in school at the time. They were in public school. So we picked up the kids, and they were in the back of his truck, in the back seat. I remember it to this day. And we were driving home with them, and we were so excited. And we said, you know what, you guys? We're going to start eating 2 meals a day. And you see them in the back going, what? And then they start crying because we just picked up our children from a very, school's stressful. Oh, yeah, you're getting milk with the granola. everything's coming out. You might want to wait till everyone gets things, and then you can mix and match. There's going to be milk coming out and yogurt coming out with the granola. And so you'll get to try everything together. But try the granola by itself. It's fine. It's just, you'll be this is pretty dry. But you can put yogurt on it. You can put the milk on it. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to, wait until everything comes out and then choose what you're going to do. Okay, so my kids were crying, and then I remembered, I'm all excited about this, but they're coming home from school, and they're hungry when they come home from school, and they're tired, and the last thing they want to know is that mom and dad are going to change their whole life, right? So that's the beginning of it. So then, actually, we taught them. They had gone to this with us, so they heard, so they knew what was coming, because they knew that we have been talking as a family. So what we started doing was feeding them a very large breakfast before they went to school. And the other thing I did was I went to the teachers, and I told each one of their teachers what we were doing as a family. So they understood that I wasn't going to starve my child, because you don't want to be reported. So I told them what they were going to eat for breakfast. And the teachers were like, well, if your kids eat all that at breakfast, they're not going to be hungry for lunch. And I said, exactly. So, and the funny thing with public school is they serve lunch like right when the kids get to school, it feels like. So what I did with my kids was I allowed them to take a snack to school. So I told them, take a snack with you, and if you get hungry at lunchtime, eat the snack. And they said, yes, we'll do that, because I'm sure we'll be hungry. So I fed them their oatmeal and their fruit, their oatmeal, their toast, their nuts, and sent them on their way. And my kids never touched the snacks again. So they would drink their water at lunchtime. And Bailey, my youngest, says that there was a little boy in her class that kept saying, why aren't you eating? You need to eat. Because they all had to sit at the table. They wouldn't let them go play or whatever, so the kids had to sit there. So my kids learned self-control, because they were sitting there with the other kids, and they would drink their water, and kids would ask them, well, why aren't you eating? And Bailey would say, well, I eat when I get home. I eat when I get home. So that was one thing. So the macaroni and cheese. Mackenzie, my middle child, loved cheese. Everything was, whenever we went out, it was macaroni and cheese, it was grilled cheese, it was whatever. She loved macaroni and cheese. So what I tried to do that first week, I made the second meal. I made a vegan macaroni and cheese. And I thought it was pretty good. So I serve it to her for one of the first meals, and she started crying again because her memory was not that macaroni and cheese. So the thing is, when you're making changes, stop trying to tell yourself it's what you love. Does that make sense? So I stopped. I didn't make macaroni and cheese for a while until her taste buds changed. Now when I make that macaroni and cheese, she loves it. So it's all in timing and how you present things. So, all right, what do you think of the yogurt? It tastes good, huh? A little bit of sweet. All right, and the granola is not bad, right? You can add things to it. Did you get the milk too? Delicious. The milk is delicious. Yeah. But it's fresh, and you made it, or we made it. All right, anybody, any thoughts? Nacho cheese is coming out. You like that? Right, but you don't taste the tofu in there. Yeah, let me tell you about tofu if you haven't experimented with it. It actually doesn't have any taste. It's whatever taste you give it. Okay? And remember, that was the Mori new, the silken one. And then you're going to get scrambled tofu here, and I want you to try that too. If it's too much food, we can help package it up. You can put a saran wrap on it and take it home if you don't want to eat everything now. Mm-hmm.
I usually eat like 10 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Between 9 and 10 and 3 and 4. Even if I end my meal at 3 or 3:30, I'm not hungry.
No, that's a good point. So let me tell you a little bit about 2 meals. When my kids were eating, when they were in school, it was a little tougher, but they handled it fine. And I'm letting you know, if you have a young person and they're needing food, don't ever keep food from them because everyone is different. Okay? Some people have a very high metabolism and they cannot do the 2 meals. We're not going to look down upon them or anything. Please make sure that you understand that. If your health is declining because you're trying to do 2 meals, but most people can do it. The timing is important, okay? Your lentil soup is now coming out, and I want you to try that. Boy, you guys are getting a lot of food here. Woo! All right, so the 2 meals, my favorite times to eat are between 8 and 10 and 2 and 4. So I'll do my 2 meals like that. But life happens, right? So sometimes on my work days that I work at school, I might not be able to eat at those times, but that's when I feel the best. So you kind of have to try things out. I did my macaroni. Oh, I can tell you afterwards. Here's the macaroni. You don't want to make a food that you absolutely love right away. You don't want to change it because you'll have a memory. So like my daughter loved macaroni and cheese. So when I tried the vegan macaroni and cheese, her memory was too ripe. So she was like, this doesn't taste like macaroni and cheese. And she didn't like it. So wait a little bit when you do that. What do you think of my nacho cheese? Isn't it yummy? I love that nacho cheese. Listen, I only make stuff that I know that I love. So if you make this, I'll come to your house anytime. Yeah, so that was the macaroni. So figuring out your schedule. The other thing is too, our bodies trust schedule. So if you're struggling with weight loss, especially ladies, men, it tends to go off. I have my own theory. Can I say my theory? No dumpling. Oh, I know, and I should have put dumpling. We can make corn. Oh, yeah, no dumplings. Okay, so that's a Jamaican thing. All right, so, but do you like the soup? Now that soup is high protein. It's filling, and if you don't want it to be so soupy, you could serve it over rice. Make it more of a stew or whatever, and that would be even more filling. So, what was I saying? My theory. Can I? Oh, I don't know where this is going. Forgive me if I. I think I'm sure there's scientific proof, but I don't know. Women were made. This might be controversial too, but that's all right. Women were made to what? Have babies, right? Correct. Reproduce. So when we change our lifestyle, or we try to diet, our bodies don't like it because it's like, wait a minute, I have to be ready to support a child. So your body doesn't want to let go. So you have to let your body trust what you're doing. So if you eat good food consistently, day after day after day after day, your body's going to start saying, oh, I can get rid of some calories, right? I think that's kind of true because we've seen women come through NEWSTART with their husbands, and the husband just flies off of them, and the women are like, they get sad. So be patient. Be patient with yourself, but also be patient with the process, okay? Be patient with the process. Let your body start trusting you that you're going to feed it at certain times consistently. No, yeah. No, Roger, it's the pot pie that's gluten-free. That doesn't have gluten in it. No, the only thing that needs to be gluten-free is the pot pie. If you, when someone comes to bring you pot pie and you're gluten-free, just ask, Roger, actually, tell me how many people are gluten-free again? 1, 2, 3. Roger, make three gluten-free plates. No, it's on their plate. Roger, it's on their plate. It will be the pot pie's on the plate. So just get 3 and got it? Okay. Hey, Raj, do 4. All right. All right, what do you think? Good. Yay. Nice. Yes, the yogurt and the granola are yummy. That was our Sabbath treat. We'd have our granola, and I'd do the tofu on Friday, and they got to put it on their yogurt and their their granola on Sabbath morning. That was fun. You can, but you know what? You can make these things, can you not? They're easy. Okay, you're getting a plate, and it has scrambled tofu, it has an oat burger, it's got kale salad, and it has the pot pie on the rice and on the oat burger. It looks yummy. So. All right. Any other questions while I'm up here? It's the nacho cheese is on second page on the back. So go 2 pages and then look on the back. We're trying to save trees. No? You might have a missing one. We'll get you. Hey, I know somebody that might have this for you. Yeah. You don't have the granola on yours? Well, good thing you know who. This is fun. All right. As you leave, if you don't have all the recipes, just stop by the table upstairs and they'll get you. You can have 2 packets and try to figure it out at home. Just check up there. She's going to get you the kale salad. But the kale salad, let me get back to on the camera. The kale salad is, again, kale, apple, and carrots, right? And then you're going to put craisins and almonds, and the dressing is going to be equal parts of lemon and syrup. So easy ingredients. Yeah. The kale salad, in fact, I might just start eating this one right now. No, I'm just joking. I love this kale salad. It lasts for a few days. Yeah. What you want to do is stir it because the dressing will go down to the bottom. And yeah, it's yummy. And it's a lovely thing to take to a potluck because it's fresh and bright and healthy. And you're going to get people to eat things that they don't ever eat. I take it to the student potluck at Weimar, and the kids love it. So I always get one student, hey, let me have the recipe for that. So that's good. And this is the fun thing of eating like this is sharing. Oh, let me tell you a little thing. When we first started, because are we in September? I can't. September. So we're going into holiday season, right? So you're going to have Thanksgivings coming up. If you do this kale salad at a Thanksgiving, it's wonderful. With the craisins, it's just really pretty. But here's what I'm telling you is you can take, the reason I keep bringing up the kale salad is I used to take that to potluck because sometimes you'll go to a church that doesn't have a lot of options. But I know that if I get a plate full of this kale salad, I can last, right? You can eat it and it'll fill you up and I can last for the day. So I had some friends at a church and we would always look at each other when we walked into potluck because we didn't want to be rude, right? We don't want to be rude. So we look and we show each other what we're bringing and we just place it down. And then when we go through, you go through that. The other thing is to help each other going through potluck. I always let the kids follow me so that they could see. Then we don't have children saying, "Ew, what's like that." You want to be polite and you want to uplift people. You don't want to make people uncomfortable. So if you go through and pick things that you can visually see, okay? If it's creamy, you don't want to ask, don't get it. Find something else. I always say, sometimes I get a pot yuck tummy because I eat way too much variety. So I try to find a couple things that I like, and I put them on my plate and I eat those. Yesterday, though, I did not get a pot yuck tummy here, and I ate a lot of variety because there was a lot of fun things. So just be careful and help your family and also be kind. And you can start making changes in your churches or wherever you're having these gatherings. My extended family are not vegan, and so we would take our children to family events, and I would just quietly bring food that they could eat, and I would prepare it over to the side, and I always was very careful with my siblings because I didn't want to make a big deal, but I said, could I just bring things that my kids can eat? And I put them to the side. And invariably, the cousins wanted to follow my kids, and they tried it. And I had little cousins asking, hey, Aunt Margaret, bring this the next Thanksgiving. Okay? So you want to just start your own traditions, healthy traditions, okay? And then one more story. We did the first year we changed our lifestyle, we wanted to do a New Year's Eve party, but we changed our sleeping patterns, correct? So we didn't want our kids staying up late, and we didn't want to stay up late because we just don't think it's worth that. Plus, New Year starts when sun sets, but we didn't want to do that either. So we didn't want to make that big deal. So what we did was we had church friends and neighborhood friends come, and instead of having food late in the evening, I put out healthy foods, and I made I made dips and did healthy crackers and stuff like that. And I had all this food out, and so we offered food at the beginning of the activity, the event, and then I just quietly put the food away, and then we did other things. We had games, and we talked, and we did other things, and it wasn't so focused on the food, okay? Because sometimes in our society, if you don't eat, it's rude, that type of thing. So you have to be careful with that, but I offered good foods, and it worked out all right. And then actually we had New Year's at 9 p.m., and we banged our pot. I don't know, I grew up banging pots at midnight. So we did all that at 9 o'clock, and then the evening was over. So you can change your lifestyle type traditions in a happy, fun way. So. Okay, question is, does Weimar grow their own vegetables? Weimar has a farm. It's actually, it's leased out by a gentleman leases the property and runs it because of all the things that we are doing. So we do have a farm available for students to go and work up there and stuff. They do, some produce goes into their cafeteria, but I'm not going to promise you everything that's fresh was grown at the, I don't want to make it like utopia. It's not. But when they have extra produce, they do sell it to the cafeteria. So, yes.
When you do your popcorn, Dr. Gallant said that corn, and I know, is one of the most GMO products out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys use the non-GMO popcorn?
Well, they bought I'm not sure what popcorn they bought, but it probably at the co-op because it was in the brown paper bag. So I'm sure it was organic or something. Yeah, we try to. Our thing with organic foods is we try our very best, but also we do believe that God will bless us if we can't afford it and if it's not accessible. So we do not, we're just like, oh, we can't eat that if it's not available. But yes, the popcorn today was organic. So, oh, and you haven't gotten it yet. Ooh. All right. How many have not gotten a plate? Okay. All right. We're getting them out there. Oh yeah, raise your hands again so I can count for them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 or 6. Right here. Yes, you can give him that one. Does he have a fork? No, I think he has one. Yeah, he has one. Thanks. All right, I'm trying to think of anything else I want to, because this is what happens is I'll go home and say, oh, I should have talked about this. No, I'm not a real shepherd's pie person, but I know, don't look at me like that, but I keep looking at shepherd pie. I guess I need to try it because I think maybe I'll like it. I don't know. But you could do that. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing. You could crumble up these oat burgers and a burger grate. Yeah, you could crumble up this oat and put it in. The other thing you can do, I think in the 7 Secrets book, I'd have to look in the NEWSTART book. They use bulgur wheat and they make a burger substitute from that. So, and you can make a burger substitute with tofu. So you crumble up tofu and season it and bake it like granola and dry it out. And that's yummy. And that's kind of got a chewy taste. I like to cut my tofu up, season it, and put it in my air fryer and air fry it. And then I throw it in my rice for a stir fry. I love doing that. And what I'll do is I'll air fry some tofu and leave that in the refrigerator, and I'll throw that into a salad because that's a good protein to throw in your salad. So I'll do just squares of it, and then sometimes I'll do tofu steaks where I'll cut it longer and season it, and you can air fry it or bake it. Baking's the same thing as air frying. The air fryer is just faster. And you season it, and then you can have tofu steak with your rice or your pasta or whatever. The question is, do I use vegan mayonnaise? Yes, there are recipes without vinegar in these cookbooks, so if you're looking for that. But yes, there are some really good, what is the name of the one with the grapes? The Foods for Life or whatever that one. Yeah. But yeah, there are some out there. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We've done, yes. Right. Yeah, so someone was saying if you use a mayonnaise and vegan mayonnaise and put it on tofu, dip it in the tofu and then put breadcrumbs, seasoned breadcrumbs, and put it in the air fryer. I've done that before, and I've done it baking it, and those are yummy. There's so many things you can try. Just go for it and try a little bit because it's fun. All right, here comes the caramel corn. I need to. I just want to thank the kitchen crew. I was wondering if you guys could just take a second and say thank you to them, because they're in there clapping for themselves. No, thank you, kitchen crew. It was wonderful working with you. Also, I think, did you guys get to bag up the chicken seasoning too? Yes. All right. Make sure you don't go out with that without getting your chicken seasoning. That recipe's there, so you can make that and save it, have it to pull from. And you actually have the scrambled. Oh, what do you think of the scrambled tofu? Was it okay? Oh, it's okay, good. All right. But there are people that love their own scrambled tofu. I'm not being, like I said, it's fun because you can be creative and do things however you want to do them, and try new things. What do you think of the caramel corn? Isn't that good? Yeah. Now, here's our only problem for our family. We don't snack, so we eat only during mealtime. So what we'll do is we'll just have a little bit of caramel corn at the end of the meals. So it's not like you sit there in front of your TV or sit there, doing something on your computer and eating. This is something I would like you to end on your meal with the caramel corn, because it has that peanut butter. You're doing those nuts, and it'll end your meal in a good way that you probably will fill up and not get hungry until the next meal. I would love to know tomorrow, if you come to the program, try not eating the rest of today. It's 3:45. Try, because you guys got a full meal. Try not eating and see if you're hungry later on tonight, because this food will last you. It will definitely last. What I can do is we can give you the chicken seasoning if there's not enough, we can give some to you tonight or this afternoon after the program. You're giving it to them. Okay, good. Okay, so remember, this is what you would use to make the lentil soup. If you want to, it's the exact amount that you need for the lentil soup, or you could make it for something else. You could actually also put this in tofu for scrambled tofu too. It probably would taste yummy, because it's a very versatile seasoning. So, all right. Well, I think what we're gonna do. It's 3:45. I need kind of the time. Are we looking, Tina? Are we looking at 4:30 to start? So 4:30, it's 3:45 right now, 4:30? I think so. Okay, we'd love for you to stay for the next session, so we don't want you to wander away. But I'm going to end this right now, but we would like to meet in the church at 4:30, and Dr. Gallant's going to talk about cancer. All right, so we're having our cancer talk at 4:30. After you get done eating all this food, the best thing for you to do is take a walk. And it's called a digestive walk. So you're not going out to exercise per se, but you're just getting a digestive walk. And while you're having your digestive walk, I'm going to eat my lunch. But please, I hope you can stay and be up in the church at 4:30 for our next program. Thank you very much. God bless.